Hey, testing 1 2 1 2. Mike says, Mike says. Hey, mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Can you hear me? Tommy, can you hear me? Welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus, Consumer Confidence and JOLTS. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. I'm not a financial advisor. It is possible to lose money trading futures. Okay. Welcome everyone. Let me know that you can see the charts and that you can see the webcam and that you can hear me just fine. Thank you for everybody who's joining us on YouTube. This is our first stream of the week this week, and we are here for consumer confidence and jolts. And it is going to be a challenge. So let's talk about it. I do have to say that I really enjoy our early morning earnings. So far this week, 2 for 2 on early morning earnings. Procter and Gamble was a winner. McDonald's was a winner. You know, I say it over and over. If you see us get up early and we're in the trade room, at a slightly unusual time, you should join us because more often than not, we will be trading real money at that time of day. And more often than not, it'll be because the setups are setups that we believe in, setups that we feel will give us a great opportunity for profit. So, if I'm up at 3 in the morning, it's generally because I'm on the East Coast, Eastern Time, US. That generally means I have a strong belief that we're going to have a good trade at 3 in the morning. Otherwise, I'm not getting up. All right. So let's talk about CB Consumer and JOLTS. So CB Consumer Confidence, when it trades by itself, is a very good event. It has been a very profitable, tradable event as a gold breakout, generally as a gold breakout. That's been its strength. So here's the issue today. And I think everybody knows if you're new, you're going to learn very fast that you don't want to trade reports that are not going to give you a good opportunity for profit. You don't want to take extra risk when there's too much uncertainty. There are plenty of good reports. There really are. I know sometimes it feels like we go through a period or two where, hey, what are we going to trade? But we have learned that the way to do this the best way is to trade the best performing reports and to trade when we have a reasonable expectation of what to expect from the news. So obviously, I'm building up to something because CB Consumer Confidence, number one, it does not often trade with jolts. I've only got two, and it goes back to August of 2023, where CB Consumer Confidence and jolts traded together. So let's talk a little bit, just a little bit, about the history of jolts. Jolts is a jobs opening type of report. And there's something to understand just about the way all of this works. If you need to figure out what's going on, in other words, you just have no idea what a report even means, go to Forex Factory, forexfactory.com, click on calendar, all right, and then click on the name of the report, the file folder next to it. And it will give you a little bit of information. I'm not saying it's gonna, make you an expert, but number of job openings during the reported month, not counting farming. All right. And then the actual a high number is generally good for the currency, for the dollar futures. And then under the forecast is usually negative for the dollar futures. But generally, before we had the Fed being involved in all of everything that we do, right? Before the Fed was so important, and don't take me the wrong way, the Fed's always important, but right now, cut rates, cut rates, cut rates. Everybody's rate crazy, and it's understandable. Job reports, job type reports have gotten very important. Over the time, the past year, the JOLTS report has gotten way more important than it ever used to be. And I'd say for the past 2 years, it's been very impactful. It's been moving markets. But where the JOLTS report started as being a very steady, stable explosion to trade, as of late, it has become a whipsaw machine. Most of the times that we've added JOLTS to another event, it has created a problem. So I'm telling everyone today, we've only got two tests of JOLTS and consumer confidence. Only one of them, none of them are recent, okay? January, let's take a look at the video, is not what I would call a recent market. So we are dealing with a situation where we are on, it's an unknown. We really don't know what to truly expect because we just don't have enough testing to tell us. Now, like I said, in January, beginning of the month, beginning of the year, we had jolts with consumer confidence, and here's what happened. We have a gold setup, and I was also watching the MES whipsaw. Okay, it was a whipsaw on gold, and it was a big stop. The MES, we've looked at the ES on this report. Nothing to write home about, but here's the deal with jolts. Now, let me just show you two. We have two jolts, so let me show you the second one because if I remember correctly, August was pretty good. So we've got a coin toss, a 50-50 situation with jolts. So this goes back to August of 23. Jolts and consumer confidence were together. Gold. Jolts has been a gold setup for us. We've tried ZN, we've tried bonds. There was a very nice move with quite a bit of slippage, I have to say. If you notice that we got filled pretty high up the candle in August of 2023, but there was good follow through, so there was a nice profit available. Okay? Sometimes slippage interferes but doesn't damage a trade. It might curtail your profits. Sometimes you get positive slippage. I don't have to remind everybody. We got, I think, over 100 positive ticks of slippage in the last jobs report. So we don't really worry about slippage in general because we know from experience there's good and bad slippage and they tend to wash each other out over time. So in August, the JOLTS report gave us a profit, even though there was slippage, and we got filled more than half, about halfway up the candle. Okay. The point being, back in that particular month, August of 23, we had a profitable report. And then in January, with JOLTS and CB consumer confidence, we had a whipsaw. In general, trading JOLTS by itself, let's take a look at July. It's the land of the webcams. That was the webcam in the video. That's our live webcam. So when I'm streaming, I have my webcam on. So sometimes there's like too many me's. Whipsaw in July on JOLTS. That was on NQ. Okay, we've been trying different things on JOLTS because it hasn't been giving us profit. All right. The ES was not a good result either. The point is this is not rocket science. Okay. That's the real truth. We are not doing something that's so complicated that we can't figure out what to do. We've got a situation where we're adding jolts to consumer confidence and there's no way to know for sure what's going to happen. JOLTS has not been trading well by itself. It hasn't been a good friend when it's trading with other instruments and other events. So it's my recommendation that you either trade in SIM or you trade it very low risk. Okay. So this is the kind of report that can move many different instruments, as is and as does consumer confidence. Sometimes you get a situation where Chantal and I do our testing and we call it a breakout for all. Worked really well. So what does that mean? It means you had a month where everything worked. NQ, gold, ES, bonds. So we just call that a breakout for all. Worked great. The reason we don't have a trap trade on this is because we don't have enough data to come up with a proper size for safety. We don't have a zone of safety for a trap trade because sometimes jolts and whatever it trades with can be a huge move. So we're not sure what the tiers should be. So it's not really, we don't have enough data. It's just that simple. So one other possibility, so it is possible that we could get a breakout for all kind of report today. It's possible. So I was thinking what might be an interesting way to trade with not too terrible risk and a possibility for a profit if consumer confidence in Jolt has a very nice move. So you could consider trading ZF, the bonds. All right. ZF bonds are the lowest risk in terms of dollars that the bonds cost you. So I came up with what I call a bond breakout. All right. Now, I always, 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 when I'm running the trade room, when I'm not able to sleep overnight because it's such a difficult setup and I'm tossing and turning, and trust me, I toss and turn all night sometimes. I'm always thinking of what's the smartest way to trade this event so that members don't lose money. What can we do? Would I trade it with my own family's money? You know, it's certainly this is not a family money trade, but it's a very big unknown. It's a very big unknown. So I would consider one contract on many instruments because almost anything could move on this report. But you got to keep in mind the risk is high because A, we don't know for sure what's going to happen, and B, we don't know for sure what's going to happen. Okay? It's not that complicated. You know, a lot of times we do know what's going to happen. You know, we can't say definitively this is exactly to the tick what's going to happen, but I know when I trade McDonald's earnings what to expect. Okay? But today I don't know what to expect. So I'm just saying we want to be very careful. The ZF setup. Right click the chart, click on your JOBB, and choose a breakout, and then the activation time is 9:59:58 for bonds. Nine 59:58. The bracket is 8, and this is on ZF. And our targets are 8 and 18 if you were going to trade two positions. If you want to trade one position, I would probably go for the 18 or 20 ticks of profit, and position size 1 would be a 1, and my stop would be 15. That's what our stop is. Okay. And again, if I was trading one contract to reduce risk, I would use this feature in the software. If the market moves X ticks, if the market moves 10 ticks in my favor, move my stop to break even plus 7. That way, if it doesn't go as far as we were looking, 20 ticks, but it has a positive move and then changes direction, you might be able to protect some of your profit before it changes direction. If it just goes and hits your target, then you'll get your target and you'll have a nice trade. So that's the way you would do it with one position. So I'll give it a shot in my Buell Knox account with two contracts, 8 and 18. 8 and 18. If it hits my first target, I'll move my stop to break even -4. My stop is 15. Okay. And that's ZF. So I'm going to label that ZF, BRK. It's a ZF breakout. Apply it. I'm going to save the template. Save. Give it a name, CB, JOLTS, ZF, and today's date. That way I have the template saved. So I know in the future how I traded it. I'm also going to check my brackets, the width, by setting the time to 0. Okay, setting my time to 0. I want to just make sure I can manage the trade physically. I have to make sure that all my data feeds are on. I was just turning on my correct data feed. When I enable a trade that's on 0 time, it will trigger a bracket as soon as the price calculates. Sometimes it takes a second if the market is quiet there. I don't need a gigantic bracket, but I just need to see so I can manage my trade. Now I'm going to put the time back to normal, 9:50, 9:58. Bracket of 8, targets of 8 and 18 with a stop of 15. Target one stop move. If my first target is hit, my software is going to automatically move my stop to break even -4. Okay? And I'm willing to trade that in my Buell Knox account, which has been making a nice comeback lately. I understand that this is high risk. I understand that JOLTS has not been a good friend to other reports. Okay? I understand that. Triple checking that I put my time back. Okay. So I have a trade set up that's ready to go on bonds. Okay? Our normal setup for consumer confidence would usually be gold. What's really interesting is last quarter, exactly correct, Frank. Exactly correct. It's a bigger bracket because you've got bigger volatility on this trade. Um, it's just that simple. Yep, you got it. We get spoiled by getting used to everything that we do. Normally, our bonds are usually six bracket of six, bracket of five. Gold is a great instrument to trade on this event because if it works, you have a real opportunity to get a beautiful profit because gold's $10 a tick and it could move 100 ticks without an eye blink, right? But I feel the risk is high today. So I'm not that interested in risking it in any of my accounts. All right. I did the testing and I'm doing what I think is the right thing to do for account preservation and safety. That's how I'm trading this. If you like risk, if you have a very big account also, you could certainly trade gold on this and you could trade the DMM. Okay? The bracket is 12, so I'm going to test the DMM. Just we'll see how it works. Our targets are 10 and 25. I believe that you could use much bigger second target and a bigger first target if you wanted to on gold. If this works well, gold will explode. That's what happens. But I'm going to test the DMM. It's conservative. If the market changes direction, it gives you an opportunity to get filled and get out of the trade before everything changes. So it offers some interesting possibilities by being conservative. Okay. Bracket of 12 triggering at 9:59.59, targets of 10 and 25, and then the target one stop move is break even, also break even -4. And then I label every trade. This is GC. Okay. Apply it. You can save a template. I like to save templates. So we would call this the same CB, JOLTS, GC, and today's date. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same exact thing. We'll look at our brackets with a time of 0. All I'm doing that for is just so I have a trade that I can physically manage. That's all. Remember, when I set the time, when I enable a 0 time trade, it'll trigger my brackets. That looks good. Okay, that looks good. Put the time back. 9:59.59. So what's everybody doing out there? Type in what you're doing. And I'm not trying to scare everyone out of trading, but I just think it's very important to know the risk. All right? It's important to know the risk. It doesn't mean this can't be a fantastic trade. It could be fantastic. But we go by the testing, we go by what's been happening previously, but we also think about what could happen. What happens when there's a good result? What instruments could possibly move? And what might be an interesting way to trade and not take so much risk that you can do it in a reasonable manner? Okay? Yeah, Ravi. Now, the other thing that Sanders doing that is important to do, but you also, you don't want to get things so complicated. Also, don't forget, everybody, please check your time sync, right? Do I have to say that in every trade room? Probably, because we always have new people. We have to check our time sync and make sure that your computer is in proper sync. All right? And you do that by going to the website time.is, www.time.is. And that checks if your computer is in sync. Okay? And if it's not, we have free tools in the room drive, that file folder in the trade room. Okay, we go over this every single time. But I guess we're going to have to always go over it because we always have new people. And that's fine. So check your time sync. Just watching the market open. Gold made a bullish move up before we got here. Looks like a pretty good magnet trade there. So that was a nice magnet, right? Because if you got up like at 7:30, you came into the trade room at 7:45, started looking at gold, it really was getting ready to test that high the whole time. So that was a good possible magnet. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get a good move on bonds based on the news. Consumer confidence, they're expecting it to be under 100. 100 is kind of the magic number between really positive and negative, positive and negative. JOLTS job openings 8.02 million. So, part of the confusion and is in analyzing analyzing the news. With the Fed, good jobs news is sometimes bad jobs news. Sander, which event are you talking about on 6S? Was it a Swiss? I thought this morning we had a, not Swiss, but I thought we had a Euro trade. Am I wrong? Spanish 6E. So Spain would have been the Euro. And Sander, you're saying you traded this the Swiss franc on that? So I'm just thinking that I probably would have looked at the euro on that. And on the Swiss franc, I could look at the Swiss GDP, Swiss CPI. However, all those countries are so interrelated and so close to each other. It would not be totally surprising for multiple currencies to work on those events. So, and that's of course why we do so much testing. I'm just going to put my indicator on ticks, net change display on my bonds. Maybe there was quite a few overnight reports. So I'll be watching and managing my right side chart more than my left on this particular event. On the left is my gold setup, and on the right is my bond setup. And I did not set up a third after the news trade. You can certainly set up a reversal continuation on this, particularly on gold, could be good. I know it's getting close to the event. Reversal continuation. Part of the problem is I have too many things going on. Profit target of 20, a stop of 20. And I'm in sim on that chart, so I'm just going to leave it on that. But normally when I would do a reversal continuation, I would do it live. But I would have to open another chart. We're just a little bit too tight right now in time, so I don't want to rush and get everybody. Oh, darn it. Folks, I have to probably cancel my trades. I'm not going to have time. I'm not going to be able to trade this. I apologize. I have a platform error. I'm very sorry. So I'll reboot my platform, but I won't be able to trade this. Nothing I can do. Every now and then I have this error. I mean, it's very every now and then, maybe once in a month. but that's what it did, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm not going to rush and come back and try to trade. I'll just watch the various markets. I'll watch ZF, I'll watch gold. I definitely don't want to rush because I don't even know that my data feed's connected. And I'm not crying in a corner because, very honestly, folks, I mean, this is the kind of event that if I were trading real life, I would not be trading my family's money. I wouldn't, I'd be watching. Okay. I'd be watching. Okay. There's the news. Now it looks like, depending where you got filled, you all are going to tell me what happened here. If the fill was good enough in bonds or not. You all are going to have to tell me because I don't have my trade set up. So you'll tell me what happened to your various setups if you're kind enough to do that. So when you're done trading, give me a roll call. So right to the VWAP, I absolutely would have been thinking if we would have just traded this just after the news, that would have been an absolute reversal area right to the VWAP. Now, you have to be careful because you have the PP and the 6 p.m. open also. You don't know for sure it's going to reverse at the VWAP. Okay? All right. So I'm particularly interested in live results or prop results because don't get me wrong, sim is great, but I want to know what really happened in terms of people working on their moneyed accounts. So, okay, Ravi, gold worked for you. Todd, you were real. Okay, MGC for 17 ticks, very nice. Bill, tell me specifically what you did. Bill, you got 45 MGC. Okay. Anybody trade bonds? Nobody traded bonds? That surprises me a little bit. I would have thought some people, okay, Sander, you're in bonds still. I would think it's a profitable trade. So, look, folks, it looks like what I was saying, all the news was really positive, which pushes gold down and it pushes bonds down. So this is my whole point. If you were willing to take the risk today, you got paid. You got paid. I'm the moderator. I've got to do what is correct for the bulk of our members. I know there's experienced members out there that are going to take more risk, but the newer folks, I don't want you taking the extra risk until you know what you're doing. Okay? Now, very interesting change in direction on bonds if you make a new low here. That new low certainly would be my target on bonds. Okay. On ZF, that would be my target. The big question about gold for live trading would have been the fill. And same thing for bonds. I would be curious if folks would type in their fills on bonds and gold and just say if it was live, sim, or prop. Okay? It's very helpful to know what the fills were. Now, so I would be curious, um, what did the ES look like? Now, the ES, that was the trade candle. Okay? That was the trade candle. So there seemed to be a little bit of volatility in the trade candle. I would want to watch a breakout just to see what the exact movement was, or a much lower time frame. Okay? 1 second on the ES. Going back to the time of the trade. Turning off my crosshair. Okay, so exactly at 9:59, right around here is when our orders went on the chart. Right there, 9:59:59. My orders would have gone on the chart. 16 and a quarter. I absolutely would have had a safe bracket for the ES, without a doubt. I would have had a safe bracket for the ES. Yes, please tell me, Sean Powell. Yes. I would have used probably 10 at least on the ES. Yes, that's it might have got me. It's possible. It might have got me. Yep. Okay, that was my worry just looking at that candle. How about um, YM? Same move or was let's take a look at the YM. Going to the time of the event. Just looking to see, so it wasn't as simple as all breakouts were perfect. Okay. It's not always all breakouts are perfect. So here's the YM. My orders would have gone on the chart right around that candle. I don't think YM would have been a great one because I think it would have filled me short and stopped me out on the move up. Probably would have used 15-ish, something like that. Yeah, that's what I think too. I'm not sure if I would have. Go ahead. I'm not sure if I would have used the bigger bracket. We would have tested before. I'm just randomly thinking right now. Okay, good to know. Dutchy out on the internet got 28 ticks in a gold trap. Dutchy likes to trade traps. Very nice. But what's interesting is Sander. All right, so Frank used a six bracket on one account. Sander, I'm assuming you made money, obviously. 7 points. 7 ticks, 7.81 ticks only, or what? Frank, I'm trying to decipher what you made. Bracket on one account, eight on one, short on both. Not surprised that it would go short. Bonds looked like it was just short all the way. The bond movement looked like it was just a movement down in one shot. Look, the important thing is everybody in the room. I'm not seeing that anybody had a bad trade. So the important thing is that we try to come up with the best instruments to do this. I hadn't tested the YM and the ES properly to give a recommendation for this event. So I was just looking to see if it was everything worked today or if it was more challenging. And it looks like it might have been a little bit more challenging. The important thing is that members made money. That's all we care about. I don't care if I'm able to trade or not. If I had a platform error, I'm working with Ninja on getting that resolved. It's not the end of the world. Of course, I'd rather would have made money on bonds, but I'm also not crying in a corner. There's a million trades every week. And that's how you have to think of it. If something happens, just let it, like water off a duck's back, right? Everything is water off a duck's back. Don't panic. Don't get upset. There's always another one. Figure out what happened and move on. That's the way to do it. Oh, if only I could have traded. No. Anyway, um, any questions? All right. I want to thank everybody on the internet for watching us. Thank you so much. This was our stream of the day. I'm going to turn off our stream. Hit the like button. We really appreciate that. And keep an eye on your email and hit the notification bell. You'll know when we're here the rest of the week. So thank you on YouTube.